Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Another episode of the Big Auntie Energy Show. I am Sha'Niece, your host on this lovely Wednesday. There we go. I hope everyone is having a really great day, a great hump day. Of course, I'm running a little bit late, but I have a really great show, even though it was kind of a slow week, not a lot going on in sports. Well, yeah, not a lot of big things going on in sports, or even with movies, nothing really coming out. Like, of course, shows aren't back yet. So, but it's going to be good. I have some really fun topics, but most importantly, I have an amazing guest, another educator. As I have said and as I've posted, August is Educator Appreciation Month. So each week I'm having different educators come on and hang out with me for an hour. And I'm going to keep it to an hour this time, y'all. I promise you. Um, but to hang out with me, we're just going to talk about all things, everything, current events, and all that's going on. So before I do that, I want to make sure that everyone can see me. And I'm going to get better at this, I promise, which is making sure that I'm not only broadcasting live on Facebook, which I don't know if I am. Okay, I am. But also making sure that everyone can see and comment. So give me 2 seconds. Making it public. Okay. I think everybody can see me on Facebook. It looks good. Okay, here we go. All right. So here. So hi Marjorie. Oh, she's here early today. Hello. So yeah, we are gonna get right into it. But the first thing I'm gonna do before I bring in my guest is do a quick business spotlight. So this week I was actually out. I'm in the Charlotte area. I went to this really cool kind of vegan fest, and of course they had really great vendors there. And one of the vendors, which is big on natural beauty, which you can see right here scrolling at the bottom, I saw these really cute headscarves. And outside of the braids, 9 times out of 10, you are going to catch me in a really cute headscarf. I generally just go on Amazon, buy them in bulk, and they kind of come pre-wrapped, pre-tied, pre-everything. But I found these really cute scarves. And not only can you like tie them and wrap them different, there's really great tutorials on how to do it. But here's one of the scarves. I was going to try to put it on my head today, but I was running late, as y'all can see. But what's really cool about this, satin lining on the inside. I just realized I don't even have my mic, y'all. Anyways, but yes, the satin lining on the inside is absolutely amazing. And you can like style it in so many cute different ways. So, of course, once these braids come out, I will have it styled and it comes with another little piece. But it's really cute. But most importantly, I got these earrings that are just giving me too much personality. Like, these earrings are just super cute. I mean, who doesn't love a cute denim earring? But yes, like as soon as I put them on, I just felt like doing this. Like, that's just what I felt like doing. I really love these earrings. But yes, make sure you check out, like I said, my Black Business Spotlight is big on natural beauty. The owners, Andre and Equality, I actually got to meet Equality this Sunday. Super dope, super nice. And of course, she has a YouTube channel where she shows like different ways that you could tie the scarf. So all of that is going to be in the description for YouTube and Facebook. So definitely make sure you go out, support. Again, really cute. For us colored girls, got some satin lining, which is always good for the hair. But I really love this. And I'm just really excited to be able to spotlight big on natural. And again, you're just gonna see me do this the entire episode. So, just get into it. Because I feel like it's just giving big, it's giving vibes. It's giving all the vibes. But yes, that is our business spotlight for this week. Make sure you support. Again, more details will be in the bio below. But this is how you can find them on Facebook and on Instagram. So that is our business spotlight. But now I have a very, very special guest who's coming in. The one, the only, the amazing, the incomparable Phaedra. Why do you? Why did you?
It was a lot. It was a whole lot.
Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. No, of course not.
You're amazing.
I try to be. I try every day.
You do.
Every
Well, anyway, everyone, this is my wonderful, wonderful friend Phaedra. We have been friends for like ever. Forever. We go all the way back to like college. I think my sophomore year, your freshman year, maybe?
No, I think my sophomore year.
My junior year.
That's it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it all started at Battle of the Bands.
It did. Okay. So we go back to like 2006-ish. But Phaedra is really amazing. And most importantly, she supports a lot of my crazy endeavors in a lot of my shenanigans. Phaedra is my road dog, but most importantly, Phaedra is an educator in North Carolina. So Phaedra, you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and what you teach and how you tolerate children every day?
It's quite simple. I'm going into year 6. I didn't think I was going into year 6, but it's all good. Currently, I'm teaching 8th grade history and language arts. So they've got me doubling up this year. Once again, I don't like it. But I just think I'm hoping that we have all full. I hope that at least at my school, the vacancies are.
Yeah. You know, being a teacher, being a teacher in North Carolina, that has been the big thing this year is just all of the teacher shortages. How does that actually affect your classroom? Does that mean bigger class sizes or?
Well, I think for me, it does mean bigger class sizes, but, and I hate that I'm not eligible for this because I teach 2 subjects. They actually pay you more if you taught another section.
Whoop. Sorry, not ready for that yet.
So let's say I just taught complete history. They would pay me like during my planning period to go teach a class.
Oh, wow.
They would pay you like a percentage more. So a lot of teachers are benefiting from that. It's still not enough to make a difference, but they are incentivizing those teachers due to the shortage.
Wow. So one thing I will say, you know, when I came up with this idea, of course, naturally, I thought of my friends who are educators and supporting their classrooms because, of course, Amazon, they have this wish list, which I think is probably one of the most genius things ever. And I have put Phaedra's wish list not only on Facebook, but also on YouTube to help supply and support her classroom. North Carolina educators, actually probably educators all over the country do not get a lot of support, let alone for supplies, even just the basics and the basic needs of their classroom. I'm pretty sure everyone is seeing different school supply drives for students and educators, and I'm a part of that mission too. So you can go to the link, the Amazon link that is in my bio on Facebook, on Twitch, and actually on YouTube. Yeah, Twitch and YouTube has it. If there's any supplies and items you want, you can just go ahead and click and it'll go straight to Phaedra in her classroom. So definitely make sure you guys support. Phaedra, you ready to get right into?
Let's do it.
Into the shenaniganeries?
Let's go. I'm ready.
The shenaniganeries? First off, I like your hair.
Thank you. I blow dried it.
Oh,
I blow dried it.
We can't act like this is a regular.
Started already.
So we're gonna get to the first. We'll see how this show goes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, the first topic, which I woke up on Monday, and like this was one of the first things I saw on Instagram, and actually saw it directly on Serena's page. I saw the Vogue cover, and I'm like, yes, Serena's gonna be in Vogue. And then it's like this long story about how she's not retiring, but evolving. Hold on, let's see. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Nope, that's still not right. There we go. Serena Williams is evolving from tennis. This is going to be her last, I guess, go round, specifically at the US Open. And she's saying farewell on her terms. This is the first off amazing picture of her. And of course, Olympia,
Oh,
which I mean,
darling.
what a flex. Like, imagine being the kid who goes to kindergarten who's like, oh, yeah, I've been on Vogue. Like, I've done the cover of Vogue. Like, that's such a
No
flex.
big deal.
I mean, and just adorable too. Like, I just like snot on this probably like ridiculously expensive dress. But in the article, in the Vogue article, she talks a lot about really just wanting to focus on family and her daughter and her husband, but most importantly understanding that she as a mother and as a woman doesn't get to have the grace or the longevity that a lot of her male counterparts do. Tom Brady has a bunch of kids. He can have 3 and 4 kids and not miss a beat when it comes to practice, when it comes to his career. I mean, look at how many football players or basketball players are at games and they're like, oh, I got to go. My wife just went into labor, right? But as a woman, you have WNBA players who've talked about it, Olympic players who've talked about it, which is when they are playing the sport, they can't, when it comes to having kids, I mean, that takes away potentially a year of them playing. So her choosing to choose family and walk away really at the top of her game, I think kind of came a little bit as a surprise. But what do you think? What did you think when you saw the news that Serena is leaving the sport of tennis?
To know that she's doing it the way that she wants to do it, it's like that whole Frank Sinatra, I did it my way type of thing. And family just has, sometimes I hate to say it, but there's always this thing where women can't do it all. We've got to pick one or the other. But I love the fact that, she's addressing Olympia's needs. She wants to be a big sister. Um, I love it. And it's just like, it's the best, whoever, like, who's better? Who's done it better?
She has had, I want to see if
Who's
it's
done
in
it
the
better?
article, but it talks about like all of her accomplishments. I mean, number one, Serena and Venus are iconic when it comes to
Absolutely.
not just tennis, not just Black women in sports, not just athletes. They are a household name. You say, when you think tennis, I don't think people nowadays look at tennis and think, oh, tennis, Arthur Ashe, right? Or like tennis, Billie Jean King, or any. People think of tennis now, modern day tennis, and male, female, Black, white. They think of Venus and Serena. Like I just can't think of any other player
I
more
agree.
iconic, but most importantly, someone who could win while pregnant. I was hoping they showed like her statistics, but it's not on here.
Well, my thing is, like, when did they even start playing? They started playing so young. So we're talking about a woman who's probably played 25, 30 years of her life. It's
I
fair
mean,
if
all
you
of them.
want to, it's fair if you want to retire. Like, and that's early. So if you want to come back, you can.
Yeah. I totally feel, look, I thought the same thing. I was like, if that was me and I'm on the cover of Vogue, I'm like, yeah, so my baby's gonna be there too.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
she's gonna be there. And yeah, her legacy is solidified. What else is there to do? And that was my thought too, which was, she talked a little bit about her accomplishments and what she's done in the tennis world. And my thought was, you don't have to explain any of that to us. Like, we know how many Grand Slams you have. I mean, she's an Olympian, a gold medal Olympian, but most importantly, like, her legacy to me was really cemented when she won. I think it was the Australian Open or the US Open when she won, and come to find out she was pregnant. I was like, who can do it better? Like, I remember there was like a some white woman who said she was like, yeah, I think she didn't even make it out of like the first round of one of the tournaments, and was like, yeah, well, I got this far and I was pregnant just like Serena. And it's like, no, 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 no. Serena was pregnant and won. You were pregnant and attempted and showed up. So I think that everything that she's accomplished, those who've tried just haven't even gotten as close to where she is. And even when you look at some of the young girls in tennis, like oh gosh, what's Naomi Osaka, and the last name is Golf. I can't think of her first
Coco.
name.
Is it Coco?
Huh?
Is it Coco?
Yes, Coco Golf. I think even though those are, looked at as the young and rising stars, I still feel like they are still so far behind where Serena is. I don't know if anyone else could catch up.
I mean, they're also still young.
Yeah.
They're still young. And Serena's what, 40?
Is she 40? She might be 40.
She might be 40. I don't know.
She might be 40. You always have the craziest statistics. So
but if you really think about it, even if she's close to 40, I'm sorry, I'm using my Googles. They're not loading fast enough.
What?
I said my Googles weren't loading fast enough.
Oh, the Googles.
Yeah, my Googles.
But yeah, I'm excited for Serena. I think that her going out on her own is definitely, I love it. And even right here, she should train, mentor, etc. I mean, I think I would be very curious as to what her next steps are. I don't know. I mean, I think naturally tennis commentating would be very easy for her, coming on like an ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, and commentating at the US Open or something like that. I mean, that would be the easiest natural step because just the fanfare around her. But, she can also sit back at home with her very rich husband and her beautiful kids and have more. So I'm happy for Serena. I look forward to reading the rest of the Vogue article. But yeah, but I think Venus is still playing. So that's also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one is a very sad article. I woke up seeing that Olivia Newton-John had passed. I was very shocked, especially to find out that she had battled cancer twice before. And so this was her third bout with it. But she passed at 73. And most people know Olivia Newton-John from Grease.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another movie that she did, and I can't remember. What's the other movie she did?
I don't remember the other movie, but I do remember her song.
What song?
Let's Get Physical.
She did that song. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, it was Let's Get Physical.
Shout out to Let's Get Physical. I can't play the song because they'll take my video down on YouTube. But yes, and John Travolta, who we know played opposite of her in Grease, did a really great heartfelt tribute to Olivia Newton-John, and a lot of celebrities, of course, have come out. But it's really sad that she had to battle cancer most of her life. But of course, she passed with family and friends around. But this was also one that I'm not gonna lie, I was a little shocked about. I was like, man, I like Olivia Newton-John.
It's like our greats are leaving us.
I know. We lost a lot of people in the past week. Like a lot. But yeah. So rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John. And I'm just gonna play Grease at some point in time this week, just because Grease is the word. Next one, I'm blasting through this because I promise you, I'm keeping this at an hour. Like I refuse to go over an hour this week. Beyonce. I know we've talked about Beyonce a lot on this channel. And I know I say I'm not a Beyonce stan, yet I still talk about her a lot. But this was something that I will be honest, I did not know. But Beyonce's Break My Soul becomes her first solo #1 on the Hot 100s in 14 years. Hey, thoughts?
Okay, so does this mean like Beyonce featuring somebody? Or just Beyonce's just never had a #1?
So here's the thing. It says this is her first solo #1. Now, Solo number one, I assume means it's solo because she also doesn't have any features.
That's what I'm thinking.
But you can have samples because we know Frida's on it. But see, Frida's not. It's not like Break My Soul featuring Frida.
Yeah.
So I think that's why this is considered her first number one song in 14 years, which is very surprising.
It is.
So yeah, it says, okay, Beyonce has been no stranger to the top spot on billboards, but in recent years, that's been via featured appearances on songs co-fronted by Meg Thee Stallion and Ed Sheeran. So she has had number ones, but she's been featured on them. But she's returned to reign over the charts as a solo artist with Break My Soul, which ascended to the number one position after having first hit the Hot 100 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks.
That's it.
That's very interesting. So yeah, Break My Soul's been out for 6 weeks. It reaches that pinnacle in the same chart week that sees her Renaissance album debuting on Billboard's 200 charts at number one. The last time Beyonce stood atop the charts by herself was back in 2008 when Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It, dominated the Hot 100 for 4 weeks. So
got it.
She's had number ones, but it's with other artists that she's been featured on. But not only does she have a number one song, but she also has a number one album. Now, do you think this is going to change the legacy or icon talk when it comes to Beyonce, specifically because her song was on the charts for about 6 weeks before it hit number one, but her album did debut at number one. What do you think?
Oh, I think she just solidified her spot. Like, have you listened to the entire album?
I did. We talked about it last week with Jahara and Megan.
And it's so good.
Really?
I like it. There's some I'm like, you could have left that one off, but I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And I think that she is kind of transitioning into, and I don't even know how to say it, but maybe like Cher.
Really?
Just like I think she's gonna reach that. I really do.
Okay, so when you say she's gonna reach her, what do you mean?
I mean, it's just like everybody knows who, everybody knows who Beyonce is, but it's just one of those people who's just gonna remain just in the eye for years and years and years and years to come. So I don't see any slowing down for her at all.
Yeah, so Marjorie says, we don't need the validation of her writing.
Oh, no, not at all.
I will say that it's very interesting because when I saw this headline, I think what shocked me was the number. Like, oh, this is her first number one her first solo number one in 14 years. Because you think about so many popular Beyonce songs that have happened in between. I mean, she's had the Lemonade album. She's had the other album. What's the other album before Lemonade? I forgot. But there's another album that came out before Lemonade. And she's had a lot of hits from that. She's been in the Super Bowl. So for me, I was actually a little shocked when I saw that it had been 14 years because she's had solo songs, but that means they've probably never lingered. They've never been number one on the Billboard Top 100s and probably of course, like R&B, the blacks.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna always do that. So Alicia says, hey, girl. I see that Cher. I can see that Cher progression. I will say that, I definitely think she's making, in my opinion, I think she's making music that she wants. I don't think she has any restraints on the type of music, the genre. I don't think she's asking anyone, oh, should I put this out? Like certain artists are like, oh, I want to put this single out, but I can't. Or, there was certain songs on the album I had to keep off, but I chose not to. I feel like Beyonce is at a point where she absolutely can put out any type of music that she wants. No one's going to question her.
She's funding it. She's producing it. She doesn't need permission.
Is she producing it?
I she produces it, yeah. I don't think I'm not saying produce in like the way you think like Timbaland produce. I think that she has producer credit for sure.
I mean, Blue Ivy has writing credits on it, so
But you can do what you want
when you're Beyonce.
And when you're Beyonce.
You can do exactly what you want when you're Beyonce. So y'all, the reason why I keep looking around is because I'm like really making sure we stay on time with this. So the big announcement, which I totally forgot to pull up, and I'm going to pull it up right now. Give me a second. So last night, Twitter went abuzz for the fact that I don't know for some of y'all if you're in the New York area, if you're not, but Angela Yee from the Breakfast Club, she tweeted out last night that the Breakfast Club as we know it is over with like the heart, the little like hand heart emoji. When I saw it, outside of the fact that it was cryptic, was like wildly cryptic, I was thinking like, oh snap, are they like, I know they weren't canceling the Breakfast Club, this show, but I was definitely like, who's leaving? You know, are they all three of them going to come on and be like, hey, Charlamagne's got his show and he's doing podcasts and Yee's doing podcasts and hosting and DJ Envy is doing like car shows and real estate. So I'm thinking like, oh, wow, are they all deciding to put more effort into their other endeavors and no longer doing the show? Did you see the tweet last night?
I did.
So what did you think initially?
I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't surprised. I'm going to be honest. Once again, the Breakfast Club has not been in my YouTube algorithm for a very long time now. I also don't think that there's any chemistry between the three of them. I think, Charlamagne and DJ Envy, I think they do more of the back and forth. I feel like she's always just kind of being like third wheeling it.
Really?
Yeah, like it's sometimes it's very obvious that there's just no real chemistry. Like I've listened to morning shows where it's the same thing, but you can clearly tell that they all have just great chemistry. And I'm thinking about my local morning show before B-Dot left. So all of them, amazing chemistry. I just never saw all three of them have that chemistry. Maybe it's just me. I just never saw it. I saw, listen, Charlamagne gave DJ Envy like a mold of his butt.
Charlamagne?
Whatever. Charlamagne. Angela Yee. So I think
I literally have that Webby clip saved because anytime I'm feeling down, all you need is that good 2.5 minutes of Webby butchering their names. It will literally change
your day.
It will change your mood. Okay, sorry.
But no, I felt like those two just, DJ Envy and Charlamagne, they were the two that actually had the most chemistry. I just felt like they kind of left her out a little bit. I mean, yes, she was still interviewing. They were the ones who kind of went back and forth with each other. It wasn't a lot of interaction between the three of them. That's what I mean.
I will definitely agree. I used to watch The Breakfast Club when it was on Revolt, especially at work. I would just kind of like, it would be me coming in work. I would have it up because, let's just keep it a bug. They have some of the most iconic interviews. I mean, they have, in my opinion, they have some of the best interviews. They have some of the most watched interviews, the most memed interviews. I mean, we can remember, right? We can all remember like Soulja Boy, like, right? Like, we all use that. Lil Mama in Tears. Keep my name out your mouth, right? Like all three of them. Like, put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name is like a shirt now. Like, they've just had some of Ray J's glasses that like pop down. That's one of my favorite gifts to send people when they say something crazy. Like, wait, what? Like, It is they have literally just been so they've had some of the best, most iconic interviews. When I did see it last night, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's fine, we're over the Breakfast Club," and part of me was just like, "Are y'all are y'all on crack?" Like they have some of the best interviews. Like one of my favorite artists that were just on there was Division. And I just love that interview and them kind of getting to, of course, their most recent song, but they're like one of my favorite artists and have been for years. But I feel like their interviews are also so well balanced. I mean, they've had controversial people up there, they've had politicians up there, they've had people talk about social justice, they've had people talk about religion. I mean, who has not been on the Breakfast Club? And most people who go on there, it's such an iconic move, right? It's like if you
Oh,
can get
yeah.
on the Breakfast Club for the culture, if you can get on the Breakfast Club, you have made it.
Oh,
Even for white people. So I will be honest, when I first saw it, I was a little sad because I was like, wow, and she also mentioned it. They had been together and doing the show for 14 years, which I think is still a really, really great run. But I was a little sad because I'm like, I do believe all things must come to an end. And so I think the fact that she's getting her own show makes sense. I would be very interested to see how that dynamic changes with Charlemagne and Envy, and do they bring in someone else? There were times where I do believe the three of them, their energy was very off and very awkward. And there were times when it was really not balanced. Sometimes I feel there were times they talked over her. I do think sometimes Angeli she tries to keep them on the rails in some of those interviews that go off the rails. I think she tries to wrangle them in, but it's just, there have been times when it just looks like extremely impossible.
yeah.
And so I'm excited that she's going to get her own show. I think that is her lane. From my understanding, she's had her own radio show in the past. And so she wants to get back to doing her own thing. And I'm not against anyone doing what they feel is best in their career. Especially, we've all been there, right? Like when you've gotten to a point in your career, you're like, it's time to move on. Like it's time for something different. It's time for something new. So I'm actually okay with this. Hold on a say. Charmaine. Oh, hold on. Another one. Angeli was excluded and it showed.
Yeah.
I will. Do you think you say yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it almost felt like, I like to call it double dutch.
Mm-hmm.
It almost felt like she had to play double dutch to, get her question in or get her comment in. Just like you were saying, it was just very unbalanced, and they would talk over her a lot. So, and it started getting really, really obvious.
Even so, I will say, because it's not on Revolt anymore and I don't get to watch it like every day, I primarily just go straight for the interviews. Like
Mm-hmm.
I literally just go straight to YouTube. I'm here to, like, if it's an artist or someone that I really like and I want to hear their interview, like that's just where I go. To me, I always felt like she was the glue in the interviews because she was the one who mainly, outside, unless it was someone they were interviewing that was like a friend of Charlemagne's, I felt like she was the only one that kind of kept it together.
She kept, she tried to stay on task, on subject, but it just, between the two of them, it used to always just get, I used to get a little crazy. But I'm
Right.
happy for her.
You said what?
I'm happy for her though.
I am too. And I think she's going to have a show that's still going to be on iHeartRadio, which, in my opinion, I'm like, well, that's great. At least she's going to kind of stay in the same network. I'm pretty sure they're not going to give her a morning show. In radio, morning shows are the big ones. So I'm pretty sure they're going to probably get her that like kind of afternoon slot. But she's also not going to be hurt for money or exposure. I mean, she has a very popular podcast. I listen to it from time to time, and she's got a bunch of other business endeavors and she's constantly hosting. So I definitely also don't think she's going to be hurt for money with this situation at all. So Alicia says there's a great possibility it was a boys club. Even when women guessed, they would ask some dumb questions. I will agree.
True.
There was a period in time when it was like there was a clear skewing of them interviewing women versus interviewing men. Like it was just super obvious. Outside of the Desus and Mero interview, which I watched,
Whew.
which popped up on my timeline, and that Desus and Mero thing was pure,
Comedy.
pure comedy. Like
Comedy.
they did a reaction and called it beige rage. I literally was completely in shambles when they did that. But that also leads me, I'm gonna go ahead and take this down, which I gotta remember how. Hold on. Boop, there we go. It's just us. So this also brings me to the next question, which I know you will enjoy because you are the one who turned me on to them, which is actually Desus and Mero.
Now
We
that
know.
I'm real sad about. I'm devastated.
So yeah,
I'm
I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Desus went on Twitter and talked about that. So outside of Angelique trending yesterday on Twitter, so was Desus and Mero, and the idea was these are two big cultural juggernauts, especially out of the New York area, with Desus and Mero having the podcast and then the show. And now the Breakfast Club, which is one of the largest syndicated shows in that New York area, and Alicia, I know if you're watching, let me know if I'm lying, but I think the Breakfast Club is one of the biggest ones in New York. Now that these two are gone, what does this mean for the culture? I mean, they had some of the best interviews, like Desus and Mero had on Jeff Goldblum, which I thought was a great interview, and their Denzel Washington interview was so great. Keke Palmer. What do you think this means for the culture?
I'm not going to say that there's a shift, but I think it is maybe allowing the next generation to kind of come in. Like we're seeing a lot more creatives coming into like the podcast and the radio spaces. I just hate that it ended how it did. There's room for everybody, but I do see that there just may be a shift. And, also with radio, is are we really still listening to the radio? We are moving towards those more podcast formats because I'm gonna be honest with you, Drink Champs is nothing but Breakfast Club interviews for 3 hours, with and liquor and weed.
Oh wait, they have weed on Drink Champs? I never watched it. I haven't watched it yet.
They have a bunch of interviews. I have not watched. They had Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
I haven't watched that one yet because I was like, what is Patti LaBelle doing on Drink Champs?
Yeah.
But okay. But I feel like it's just moving into that sort of thing. But as I was reading up on the split, it sounded like it was mutual. Like they both just kind of wanted to go their own separate ways, and sometimes you just have to do that. I kind of see them. They're probably writers. They're writers on some show. Like they've got to be. The
Go ahead.
wit is there, so I feel like there might be some writing and just some creative stuff that they just wanted to do apart.
Absolutely. I know even I would watch a lot of the clips that were on YouTube, and it was also very clear like Desus, especially because he didn't have kids, and he definitely seemed to be one who was exploring and really getting into the industry. He would talk more about these trips and having dinners with all of these, famous singers and actors and everything. And he's friends with Seth Rogen and was it Anna Kendrick or all that. And so it was like, okay, he seems to really be falling in Sue Bird, right? Like he seems to be really enjoying Hollywood and the celebrity and taking advantage of those opportunities. Where Mero, who has like 3, 4 kids,
Yeah.
it seemed like he wasn't out there as much, specifically because he was more of a family person, whereas Desus lived in the city and was really taking advantage of it. So but I also thought like they were still doing their podcast because you were the one who hit me to their podcast.
Now I don't know, but Bodega Boys is like amazing. I love Bodega Boys. I don't know if that means that they're done with like the Showtime show and Bodega Boys, but I guess we'll just have to see. When I see people kind of sever ties, it's kind of like we've made the money we want to make with this. It's time for us to venture out.
So I was like, well, maybe the next person up would be me.
Possibly, you never know. I feel like a lot of people are coming into this space But on the flip, it's a lot of people who just have an opinion or just sitting at a microphone. Like they're not putting, they're not doing the work.
So I don't know if that's a support for Sha'Niece or if
No,
that's
they get support. Like you're doing this. No, I have been. Listen, why am I watching all these movies? Why am I watching all these Marvel movies?
I don't know. Why are you?
Because you're influencing.
Look at me. I influence it.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
So actually, that's funny because that is actually going to be my last question for you before I let you go. Before I let go, which is, so guys, if you have watched some of the shows, you've seen Phaedra in the comments, especially when we were talking Marvel about a month ago. And Phaedra, you decided to go on the MCU journey.
Oh.
So can you, before I cannot let you go, because I told Brian, I said, I'm gonna grill Phaedra about her MCU history. So Phaedra, please tell us your MCU journey.
Okay, so Disney Plus is the GOAT. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And my boyfriend has kind of been trying to explain it to me, like as I watch it too. He's like, "Oh, well, that's this." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Well, if you have any questions, let me know." So I started watching, and I was, because they have it literally in timeline order. So that's how I've been watching it.
Okay.
Where am I now? I think I'm at Guardians of the Galaxy. So I still have a ways to go.
Okay. So Guardians of the Galaxy, you are in phase.
Now remember, I'm doing this in timeline order.
Okay.
So I'm kind of doing it that way because I'm actually starting to kind of sort of see the story.
Okay.
I'm starting to kind of see how everything is kind of woven together.
Okay.
Then, so maybe I'll catch up and I can kind of get my mind right for the other stuff. But so far it's been like really, really good. Like I'm gonna tell you that Thor: The Dark World, that was hard to get through. Like you know that book that you just can't get through. I don't even understand it. So don't even ask me a question about that.
That was like the second 50 Shades of Grey for me. The first one was pretty good, but that second 50 Shades of Grey, I was like, okay, I cannot get this.
That Thor was like a hard book to get through.
Okay.
But I thoroughly enjoyed these Iron Mans.
Really?
Yes. I like
all three
Iron Man. Now that third one was a little, but
okay. But you like it as a unit.
I do like it as a unit. I do like me some RDJ. I like him. I'm just saying, and watching now that Captain Marvel.
Okay, so you've seen Captain Marvel. Did you not? I liked it.
I really enjoy Captain Marvel.
Anytime you can throw in a No Doubt song, I mean, you can do no wrong to me.
I'm just saying it. So far, I'm starting to kind of see how it's starting to kind of weave together.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of the year, I will have gotten ahead. It's just that I'm going to see these movies, right?
Yes.
Like I'm going to the theater. Like I went and saw like The Love and Thunder, and I was like, but I don't.
So okay. So Brian and I were talking about you. I will say this. There are some movies in this recent phase that you don't have to have seen other movies. And one thing you said about Disney Plus that I think is great is that when the new movies come out, Disney Plus will say like the Thor movies. And I do enjoy that. Or they'll tell it's like they give you a suggestion. So what I do like about that is like Doctor Strange came out and it's like, hey, to go see Doctor Strange, make sure you watch WandaVision, you watch this movie, that movie. It's like they give you movie suggestions to watch. So you don't have to watch all of them, right? So like going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder, you didn't really need to see Captain America: Winter Soldier. Like Captain America: Winter Soldier is not going to, if you see it or don't see it, it's not going to help you when you go see Thor: Love and Thunder. So I will say that Disney and Marvel have done a really good job of curating the movies you really, really need to see if you're about to go see it. So you don't have to say, hey, I have like 40 hours of movies I need to watch in order to understand this one movie.
Right.
Specifically in
But
this
speaking of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like
Yes.
finding out who the Winter Soldier was like,
oh my god, yes.
I was that involved, so I was like, so it's his homie.
Yes, it's his best.
You know, so it was just one of those moments for me, like, oh.
Phaedra, it would be like if I was Captain America and you were Bucky. You would be my Bucky.
No Winter Soldier though, because I don't want to not remember.
Yeah, and no mechanical arm to like choke me out. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So okay, you're up to date. So are you? So okay, I will be honest. You are at a good point, and I think like I want you to keep going. But I will be honest. Once you get to the shows, it's gonna get crazy because like the shows, you will need the shows. Like unfortunately, you.
That's the part I'm like.
Will.
Now I feel like I did start watching. I did do Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It is good.
I did do that one. I did watch that.
Okay.
Or as my dad liked to call it, Falcon and the Snowman.
Oh my god.
Like one day, one day he was asking me to, for my login. He was like, "Yeah, I want to watch, Falcon and the Snowman." I was like, "Daddy, it's Falcon and the Soldier."
Your father is hilarious.
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, just an absolute joy. Well, like I said, I think you have a ways to go.
Yeah,
you definitely have a ways to go. Yes, that's how I be feeling with these stories. Like that's very interesting. You have a ways to go, but I'll be honest, Faye, I'm excited that you're on this journey.
I am so excited that I'm starting to kind of see like the story, even though I'm not watching it in the way that is normal. So I feel like I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but I'm starting to kind of see, I'm starting to see the continuity a little bit. It's like, okay, like some places just picking up where they left off and that sort of thing. Noticing that they have that first, some of these movies just have that first like end of credit.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there like a jackass, like that's it. There's one like mid credit, and then there's one like
there's two. Yeah, some of them have two, and some of them have one. And yes, or they'll have like the second one, and it's stupid, and you're like, well, why did I sit here for that? Exactly. So okay, Alicia says I can't watch all the shows. I watch heavily spoilers for the series. So I will say heavy spoilers. I don't generally watch heavy spoilers a lot, but I will say when it comes to any of the shows, heavy spoilers is going to help you the most in Loki. Loki is, I would say Loki and Moon Knight, which Moon Knight hasn't really played into anything yet, but Loki plays into a lot of what we're about to go into in Marvel. So heavy spoilers will help because there are just so many aspects, so many things you will miss watching the first time. I felt like Loki was one of the series. I literally watched it twice. I think almost every episode, that one and Moon Knight, I absolutely had to watch twice. But heavy spoilers is really good. They kind of break it down. And there are some other YouTubers. Oh, well, I thought that was me. But I'm happy for you. And look, I said this. We are keeping this at 1 hour, and we are almost at an hour. But before I go, I will say this. I want to keep you on for this one last segment. Okay. Which I do, and I call it a Black woman moment. There we go. And I'm going to do a very quick Black woman moment, and I'm going to keep Phaedra on because this is a special one. Now, normally I do a rant about something I saw on the interwebs that pissed me off. So like last week, I talked about the girl from FAMU. I talked about, some of the foolishness that's going on in Congress. But this one is actually not a rant or anything negative. This is actually a very positive Black woman moment. And I want to dedicate this to Miss Luann Edmonds Harris at my alma mater of North Carolina Central University. Luann is the head coach for the women's the varsity cheerleading squad, aka Champagne. Luann, also, when I came into Central, she was in admissions. She was one of the directors of admissions. Anyone who has been at North Carolina Central for the past 30 plus years know exactly who Miss Luann is. My mom knows Miss Luann. My sister knows Miss Luann. I mean, she is such an iconic figure at our university and our alma mater. And yesterday it was announced that she is going to be retiring after 30 plus years of truth and service to our alma mater. She is also stepping down as the women's cheerleading coach, and taking over is Latasha Bynum, who is a friend of mine, a soror of ours, and she also cheered under Miss Luann while we were in school together. And I could not think of anyone better to not only be the head cheerleading coach, but to truly take the reins that Luann has built when it comes to this program. Is it just really is such a big, it's a really, really big deal for our university. I've seen my timeline completely full of people not only just thanking Luann and congratulating her on now retiring and being able to rest and not have to go to a million football and basketball games, but also really congratulating Tasha for all the work that she's been doing with the cheerleaders over these past few years, and now being able to have the title of head coach. So my Black woman moment, for me, and you know, Phaedra, if you want to say anything, but it really is to thank Luann for her years and years of service. Luann, we love you. I love you. I was going to add a picture on here, but I have no clue how to do that. But I really just wanted to do a special shout out to Miss Luann for all that she's done for the university, and happy retirement.
Yes, like that's amazing. But somehow I know she's gonna be around.
Oh, of course.
Like, but it's like where? So that I can find her. You know, it's like
Luann is in CCU. Like she's, I think this will be a great opportunity for her to step back, you know, because it is very taxing to be at the football games, at every game, every basketball game, and practices on top of that. And so I think it's really great that, like you said, she'll always be around. I mean, she's, you know, probably one of the long-standing coaches, not only in the CIAA, but also the MEAC. So I know Lou is going to always be around. She's going to be at games. We'll be able to see her. But I think it's really great that she's choosing to retire and rest and take her time, and that Tasha's taking over. I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time.
Yeah. So that was my little Black woman moment. Phaedra, I want to say thank you so much for hopping on with me today. Hold on, before I leave, I got to put my other thing up. Phaedra, how can people, are you on the interwebs? Are you on social media? Do you want to
I am on the Instagrams. Do I? I mean, do I give?
Yeah. If you want to share.
I don't want to be like, no, I don't really want to give that out, but
oh my God. Anyways,
because as an educator, we got to keep them kind of like locked tight.
Oh,
yeah. Because I actually had kids find me on Instagram.
That is so weird when they find you. It's like, don't. Yeah. This is adult content only.
That's why I had to private myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
but most importantly, people can donate to your.
Yes, absolutely. It is going to go towards great things. I think people think that the school gives us all this stuff. No. We literally spend, I can't tell you how much money I put into my classroom over the years, and to only get like $250 back on my taxes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like,
that's all you get back?
Yeah, you can only claim up to maybe $250 or something like that. Yes. And I know one year put way more into my classroom. So it's taxing. It's a labor of love. These are things that my kids will use. We do a lot of, I I have them writing. We do a lot of like interactive stuff in their notebooks. So this is stuff that will be used. But yeah, I think the misconception is teachers got it, or the school will get, or the school will furnish it. I didn't even know I could ask for the dry erase spray.
That's wow.
That's one of the things they'll give you. They might give you
Well,
a dry erase marker or something, but everything else, like you're supplying yourself. So this
well,
is amazing.
and I'm hoping that those who are watching or watching the replay, you can go on. Like I said, Phaedra's Amazon wish list is on Facebook, it's on Twitch, it's on YouTube. So definitely, if you feel in the need to give, click on the list and purchase some items and send it along and send it on our way. Because you start school in a week, right?
I start.
Yes.
Don't start until like end of the month, but I go back to work, sit in all those meetings all day next week.
Absolutely. And yes, Marjorie says donors choose to donate every year. Yeah, there's a lot of really great foundations in areas where you can donate or receive items. So again, y'all bless my girl on her wish list.
Thank
But most
you.
importantly, thank you so much for being here, Phaedra. I said this show was going to be an hour, and it is. I want to also send a very special hello and thank you for those in Tingsboro, Massachusetts. So we are also streaming live on TV for those in the Tingsboro, Massachusetts area. So hello, everyone in Massachusetts. Hope the weather is nice. And of course, like I said, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. You can watch the replay, you can like, can subscribe, you can share. I appreciate you, Phaedra, so much for being here this Wednesday on the Big Auntie Energy Show. I don't know if you can see my shirt.
I need one of those.
Okay. Okay, Phaedra.
I got you. But I want one.
We'll talk about the shirt. But thank you everyone for taking the time to hang out with me this Wednesday. Remember, you can also follow me on the social medias. It's going right here. So it's the Big Auntie Energy Show on IG and the _Bay_ show on Twitter. Thank y'all so much. Have a happy, great rest of your week. And next week, I'll be back here with another educator, another Amazon wish list, and some more crazy shenanigans we're going to talk about. Everyone have a good one. Bye.